Hi. Welcome to Basics. Today we're going to be, this is terrible. Today we're going to, by request, do a basic presentation on scrapers. Let's do it. I just want to demo the benefits of using a scraper. Now what a scraper is essentially it's just a piece of tool steel that we've used a harder piece of steel, which we call a burnisher, to turn a burr on the edge. So it's probably a little bit hard to see on the shot, but essentially that burr looks like this. So it comes across, we've crowned it over, it's like that. Okay, pretty crude example. That's like basically we just talked about that burr. What that does is create a cutting edge so that we can actually very finely plane the surface of the wood off, and we've got really nice control. So what I'm going to do here is demonstrate the advantages of a scraper over sandpaper. So if I go back to where I was before and just scribble a line, now here I've got some brand new 80 grit sandpaper. You can see it's like nice and fresh, never been used. I'm going to rip a little piece off that. I'm going to quickly try and sand through that pencil line. You can see how long that's taking to get through to the depth of that pencil line. Okay, so here's an example of the scraper, you know, like compared to the sandpaper, like going through this this pencil line. One cut, done. So easy. So you can see that it looks like it's, you know, there's fluffy shavings through there. And when I take another stroke, I should get delicate shaving coming off that. You can see there that as I get to the depth of the machine marks, then I'm getting a shaving rather than this dust. Now, if that's just pulling dust, because this edge will blunten relatively quickly, that little burr, if that's just getting dust, then we need to be able to maintain that sharp edge. So that's the next stage of this, like to show you how to quickly sharpen that, or to show you how to reshape that burr. Okay, so as with anything, if you fold anything back and forward enough times, it's going to break off. So the quality of this steel is going to determine how long we can reshape that burr back and forward before it falls off. But I'm expecting that we'll quite easily be able to turn this burr back and forward to get a nice sharp edge again. So what we're going to use is what we call a burnisher. I said that before, but what a burnisher is essentially just a bit of hardened steel. So it just needs to be harder than the scraper steel itself. As far as a hardened bit of steel goes, like this is a designated burnisher, but there's no reason why you couldn't use a good quality screwdriver for the same purpose. Okay, so obviously the shaft of that screwdriver, not the end of it. I'm just going to lay this on the bench and I'm going to turn this burr back. So I'm going to draw this back. So this angle here is at about 10 degrees. And I draw it back towards myself. So that flattens that burr off. There's no longer a burr there. I'm going to do that to all four edges very quickly. Four. Okay, so now that burr is gone and it's sort of sitting up. So now I want to flatten that out. So I'm going to put it in my vise here. And the first action here with the burnisher is to run horizontal. So it's just a firm stroke through here. I'm not pushing down particularly hard, it's just flattening out that burr. The next action is to run that at about 10 degrees and pushing along the line and away from myself. I'm just running one stroke through there. And now what we've got here is that tiny little burr reforming on that edge. I doubt that you'll see it on the camera, but I'm going to do that on all four edges. So here's the other side. I've already gone flat, so I'm going to go across at that 10 degrees again. Feel for the burr, it's just a tiny little burr through there. Do that to the other side, flatten that first, and then turn it around the corner again. There's a bit of oil, tongue oil, dried tongue oil on that which you may or may not see, and across. And that's easy as. Now I'll bring it back to our little piece of wood. Not that it was particularly blunt before, but what we should see is that you should be able to hear that cutting back off there. And what we've got is this shaving forming here versus a blunt one. I hope this is blunt, I haven't checked that. That's got nothing there. See, nothing's happening. No burr on that, I'm just getting dust. Compared to shaving. That's what we're aiming for, that really nice shaving. And I'm not pushing with a great amount of force. Okay, so I can also draw. So if I, rather than push, I can draw. So my pressure is in the middle, thumbs are on the outside, and I'm going to draw back. And when I push stroke, thumbs in the middle, fingers on the outside, just a little bit of pressure so that I can direct where I want to cut along that line. So, better example, I want to hit this line, I'm going to put my thumbs right behind it there, and then move across and work across just like you would with a hand plane. Now what we've got to be really careful here is, like, it's obviously we've shown that it removes material quite quickly, you know, with the pencil test versus the sandpaper. What we've got to be really careful is that just make sure that we're not using this in the place of a plane, for example, because it's very easy to dig a hole if we overwork this surface with the scraper. Here's an example, right? So I'm going to pencil that surface again, and I'm going to just isolate my scraping activity to one point. All right, so I've taken, I don't know what that is, maybe 0.1 of a mil out of there. I'm going to prove that it's deeper, okay? So this is the plane that I'm using. I've set that shaving to 0.1 of a millimeter, okay? So 0.1, 0.1 of a millimeter, there's 0.1. So I just re-penciled this surface here, and I'm going to start from the outside, take a shaving across the whole width of the board. Look what's happening. That area that I scraped out is deeper than 0.1 of a millimeter. I'm going to go again. Better, but that means it's deeper than 0.2 of a millimeter, and we'll go again. And it's pretty much got that. So we are deeper than 0.3 of a millimeter. Okay, so I just want to explain what I've just done there by flattening out that board. What a plane is designed to do is create a flat surface. So we've got a flat surface here, and the blade's only set at a certain depth, which means that it's going to cut the highest point, you know, and it will flatten out a surface. I'm not going into an exhaustive on planes here. We're going to do some videos on planes, probably quite a few, because I think it's one of the most important tools in the shop. But I just wanted to prove how quickly that scraper will cut. So easy to dig a hole. All we want to use the scraper for is to clean that surface, and it's taking, basically, potentially, it's taking our succession of sandpaper from a sequence of grits from, you know, say we started at 80 grit and we ended up at 400. Well, it's basically taking us to a point where we've dismissed everything right up to 400 and just finished it off with some 400 paper. Genius.